guys, Mediocre Farm Wife here. So I've had a lot of people ask me to make them some more of my fire and ice pickles. All summer I've had people asking me and I have not had time. So I decided I'm gonna show you how easy it is to make these fire and ice pickles on your own at home. And the problem is that usually I make them with the hamburger dill slices, but I could not find any in a big jar. So I went and got the kosher baby dills, the whole ones, and I used my handy dandy fancy slicer to cut some fancy slices. So we're gonna work that way. But I'm gonna show you how to make them the way I've always made them, and if you've ever had my fire and ice pickles, that'll be the same way I'm gonna show you to make them. But I also found something that I'm pretty excited about. I'm gonna throw in this batch and tell you to omit this if you do not want it in there and it's extra spice, but it is spicy onion strips with habanero and lime. So excited about it. So if you don't want that in your pickles, just leave it out. The rest of the recipe is exactly the same. And so I'm gonna show you how to do this. It's very simple. Then you have your own at home. Okay guys, so I went with these, like I said, instead of the hamburger slices. If you do the hamburger slices, it calls for 2 of the 32-ounce jars. Since I did these and I was slicing them, I got the 46-ounce jars. I think that's probably going to end up being about the same. But anyways, I got 2 of these jars. You're gonna want to drain the pickle juice off of the pickles, save the jar. So I have 2 jars, 2 lids, and I've saved them because that's where I'm gonna put them back to. Now, I left 3 of these pickles out to show you how I cut them. You can cut them in slices, you can buy the dill slices, you can cut them in chunks, you can cut them however you want. You don't have to cut them at all, but I suggest cutting them so that the juices get into the inside of the pickle. So what I did was I just cut them literally right down the middle and made these fancy little slices, and I've already got that going. So I'm gonna cut these last 2, and then it's hard to do one-handed. There we go. And I'm just gonna throw all of those in this big bowl. You're gonna want a big bowl because it's gonna sit and marinate in this for several hours. So then you're gonna wanna put to the 32 ounces of, or to the 2 jars of 32 ounces of pickles, you're gonna wanna put 4 cups of sugar. So I'm just gonna add, I know it sounds like a lot, but this is what's going to make the juice since you drained the juice off of it. So that was 2 cups. Let me get 2 more real quick. I love these huge measuring cups. They're Pioneer Woman, Walmart. I'm just gonna sprinkle that on there like so. And that takes care of the sugar. Then the hot sauce I like to use is the Louisiana hot sauce. So you're gonna add 2 tablespoons of that, just right on the top here, like so, very simple. Then crushed red pepper, a 1/2 teaspoon. Then minced onion. You can use anywhere from 2 to 3 teaspoons. I usually use 3, so that's a tablespoon. And then minced garlic, same thing, 2 to 3 teaspoons. And again, I used 3. Now, literally, that's as simple as it is, and you're going to stir. Let me back up here and get me a stirrer. And you're just going to stir this up and let this marinate, literally. Sorry, I'm not paying attention to what I'm doing with my camera because it's hard to be a videographer and do this at the same time. And as it sits, it is going to get very juicy. Now, that's where it would end. You will cover it with a towel and you would let that marinate for, let's see here, 2 hours. And then you're just going to cover it, let it marinate 2 hours, stir it occasionally, and then put it back in your jars and bam, stick it in the fridge, you're done. Now, where I'm gonna get a little creative is I'm gonna stick these spicy onion strips in, which I did not open, so let me see if I can do that without spilling it. Oh, I can, look at me go. All over myself. Okay, so I am not gonna measure that. I'm gonna say I'm probably gonna put like maybe 1/4 of a cup in here. Let's see, I'm gonna get them out with these because that's how I get those ones out the best. Just throw a few of those babies in there. if you want to add anything to these, you totally can. All right, so that was just the onions. Now I'm going to add just a little bit of this juice. I'm going to say that's probably about 2 or 3 tablespoons there. Now I'm just going to stir that up. Okay, what I was saying was you can add other stuff to this, but you want to make sure this is a re-pickled pickle, basically. So you're not going to want to use like fresh produce, like fresh jalapenos or fresh, peppers or whatever, onions. You're going to want to use some that have already been pickled. So if you wanted to put jalapenos in it or any kind of peppers or whatever in their onions, make sure that they are already pickled in a jar. And I would say some of those roasted red peppers that are in a jar, any of that kind of stuff would be really super pretty in there. And so, yeah, that's how easy it is. And once that's marinated, I will show you the final product. All right, guys, so this is the juice that's left from the pickles that you've seen a picture of in this video. I have put half the pickles into each jar. I use my little canning thing here, and we're going to pour this juice into each one of these equally. I will post a picture of that. These pickles are amazing with and without these onions that I added to them. It didn't add like a whole bunch of extra heat. I wasn't sure if it would or not, but it didn't. So I'd say you could anybody that liked the fire and ice, it does add some extra flavor, but not like a whole ton of extra heat like you would think it would with the habanero juice. So anyways, I'll show you the finished product when I get this poured in here, but I'm not gonna try to do that one-handed. All right, guys, I've got the pickles in there. I've got the juice in there. The juice ended up being to about right here on both jars. I do want to say that the recipe actually calls for the two 32-ounce dill chips. I couldn't find those, so I ended up using these, like I said, the kosher baby whole ones. And these are a 46-ounce. I thought maybe the whole ones would take up more space and maybe equal out to about what the chips were, but then I started second guessing myself, and I added 2 extra cups of sugar to make sure I had plenty of juice to both of these jars. So if you do use the 46-ounce dill, the whole ones, go ahead and add that extra 2 cups of sugar to make sure you have plenty of juice, because it made just the right amount. So other than that, you're just gonna pop the lid on, throw them in the fridge. Enjoy.